Well, we're definitely excited about this year's recruiting class. We feel like that we've got a great group of young men that want to be here and be difference makers, and want to help this football team win. And we're excited to have all of them. And as you know, the recruiting process is always ongoing. It's still ongoing now. It may slow down a tad bit, but there's still a lot of things to be done. But we're excited about the young men we have. A lot of guys have done a really good job recruiting themselves, the recruits we've of recruiting teammates, and letting them know what University of Louisville is all about. And I'm sure our players on the team have done a really good job when these guys have visited here multiple times actually for quite a few of them. So that's been a good thing. So I really think that these guys will help us moving forward, contribute a great deal. Hopefully some of them contribute right away, and will really help this football team win.
Jeff, when you took the job and this class was together like it was, kind of your thoughts, did you just start looking at kids right away? And how did you proceed after you took the job to kind of keep the bulk of this class together?
Well, I've been through this process before, and when it comes to a recruiting class, I want to try to keep things intact as much as we can and make sure that we're not just making changes to make changes. So we definitely came in and watched all the current commitments and made sure we got a chance to get on the phone and get to know these young men and their parents and their family, and then plan ways to go see them and visit them and get in front of them. So that was kind of the plan of attack. And as always, there's certain other people along the way that you've been recruiting for a long time before you got here that, if they have interest, you want to definitely be open to that interest. So we were definitely open to others that had interest in us that we thought could help our football team get better. So we just kept an open mind, and but we definitely, we're a little short-staffed with not a whole lot of people being here, and but those guys worked really hard. All of our assistant coaches, Pete Nocta and John, and those guys did a really good job. So I just think that we did our part to try to add pieces to the puzzle, but we felt good about the commitments that we had, and it was about just trying to get to know them and them know us and make sure they feel comfortable. And some guys will stick with the plan, and others may change, and you just have to react and make sure you're taking care of the guys that want to be here.
Jeff, in particular, the California kids. I know you went out there and you saw those kids. How important was it to keep those guys on board, and was that a big sell for you?
Well, even from afar, you kind of watched the recruiting class a little bit and knew some of the names that were on there. So as we got here, without question, the California connection had made a difference in this class. So we wanted to make sure we got out there, which we did. Me and quite a few of our assistants right off the bat, and visited with those young men and their families. I thought that went very, very well, and let them know that we wanted them to be a part of it and what we thought we could do for them moving forward, and the vision of the program. And I thought that was really good. And then from there, it was about planning to try to go see as many others as well that we thought could be difference makers and really help the program get better. But we're excited about the crew, and of course, Pierce, our quarterback, has led the charge and done a really good job, selling this university and what he believes in. He can do for the program, and we're excited to have him and all of his teammates. Those guys are really good players, and we're looking forward to getting them here.
What did you see in Pierce's game specifically? Things that stood out to you, and then also what might what might your plan be for progressing him here once he gets on campus?
Well, I think Pierce is a great leader. He really wants to be here. He wants to be a difference maker. He's played against a high level of competition. He can make plays with his feet. He can throw the football as well. And he'll just continue to get better. We look forward to always working with all of our quarterbacks, and the fact that he's going to be able to enroll early is going to be huge. He wants to be great. He wants to study. He wants to help this program win. So we're fired up to get him. I think he's going to be able to do quite a few things for us, and we've got to figure out what he does best, and then whatever other things we need to work on, we need to work hard at those right off the bat. We'll have all spring and summer and fall camp to get that going, but we're excited because leadership skills, toughness, the ability to compete at a high level is very important, and he has all those traits.
Kejuan Brown is a guy that you've known for quite a while, a former Purdue commit that's now joined you here at Louisville. Just talk about his game. What's impressed you about what he can do running the ball?
Well, as we looked at his game, of course, we knew quite a bit about him. He goes by Bama, but Kiwan comes from a really good family. They play a high level of competition. His film is really good, and I thought that, and we thought as a staff that he could add great value to the team. And he came up this past weekend with his family, had a good trip and visit, and got to see things. And we went down last week to see him at his house as well. And I just think we had a good relationship with him. He felt comfortable with me and Coach Barclay and what we believed that we could help him achieve. And I think it'll be a really good addition.
Jeff, you got 4 or 5 guys maybe end up being more off the two number 1 and number 2 teams in the country, the teams that finished 1 and 2. How important is that to have success with a program like that in high school, and then have those guys with that winning attitude?
Well, I think it's really important. Guys that have competed against great competition, which they did, guys that can find a way to win. It means something to them, so they have that winning attitude and that will to want to figure out a way to do their part to help their football team win. But I really think those guys will add great value to the football team. They'll come in here and compete. And that's what you want. You want your young guys to come in and compete for a spot. As you know, your recruiting is on Twitter and on social media and on TV. And, when they get here, it's time for them to prove what they can do. And I think that quite a few of these guys are going to enroll early. 7 of the 11 high school signees are going to enroll early, so we'll get them here and get them plenty of reps this spring. Let them showcase what they're all about. We do make sure, since I've been a head coach, that all young guys get an opportunity right off the bat to learn. We don't like to have them stand in the back and learn by watching. No, they're going to get on the field, get repetitions, and be able to show what they can do. So we're excited to get them to the mix. And normally when you add young guys to your team, the team recognizes who the best players are and who can contribute and who can help the team win, and they want to win as well. So we'll give all those guys an opportunity, and I think they'll come in here ready to compete and hopefully do a really good job.
Do you anticipate adding any more guys during this period or in the February period?
I think we will, without question. We'll be very active from here on out. Like everything, there's probably a couple that don't want us to say anything that may be added when they want to announce. There's a few others we're working on, and of course there's transfer additions that we'll constantly work on between now and the end of the summer. And we've had success getting transfers at this point before they get into school in January. We've had quite a bit of success of guys at the end of spring when they've gone through spring practice and things haven't worked out for them, wanting to make a change, making sure we save room to add those additions. So it's a constant thing, and we need to have success when we're getting additions from the portal.
I was just about to ask you, Coach, how much different is recruiting with the transfer portal being what it is today?
Well, it's a lot different every year, and with all the rule changes that have come about, and guys not having to sit out a year, it's going to become even more active, and that's just what college football is all about, and you have to be able to react to it. So I didn't, or a lot of us didn't put the rules in, but you have to be able to play by the rules that are out there. So it's a constant thing you're looking at, and you're making sure that every day you're peeking at who's going in the portal. Do we think it's a fit? Let's watch their film. Let's get some more background information on them, and then if we like them, let's try to recruit them and get them here. So that will continue, from now until probably all year long, but definitely until the first game.
Jeff, do you feel like you need to add a quarterback from the portal?
I think we probably will add a quarterback. I think we need some depth at that position, and so we will look at that and make sure that we have enough guys on the roster. And I think that's what you want to have. You want to have enough guys that can compete. We've been in situations before where at Purdue, Aiden O'Connell was started at the very bottom, 5th string, 4th string, and we had one year where he had to play. It wasn't really like we wanted to put him in, but we had 3 guys go down. He was the 4th guy up. He may have been the 5th, but he was at least the 4th guy up. And so you need depth there, and you need to build depth. And at some point, you're going to need at least the backup, if not more than that. So I think it's always important to make sure we have enough quarterbacks on the roster. I know when I played for Coach Snellenberger, he had a whole lot of quarterbacks on the roster, probably more than you needed. I think I came in at eighth team or ninth team when I got here. So he definitely believed in having a lot. I wouldn't go that far, but we definitely want to have 4 or 5 guys we feel comfortable with.
Jeff, outside of quarterback, given the current state of your roster, are there any other positions that you're specifically targeting in the transfer portal over another?
Well, I think a lot of games are won up front in the trenches, so we always look for offensive linemen and defensive linemen. We signed 2 offensive linemen in this class as freshmen, so without question, we're looking to add a couple through the portal. I feel like we have pretty good depth here on the defensive line and added some good young freshmen and added some good transfers at this point. So, that is always something we'll look at, but I feel like we've had pretty good depth right there. And then, of course, any difference makers at any position, we'll always make sure that we'll take one of those.
Hey, Jeff, up top right here. You mentioned up front the defensive line, particularly in the transfer portal, was something you guys seemed to address. What really jumped out about those guys for you guys to go after them and get them as a part of the team?
Well, we feel like that's an important position for us, and as I've watched Louisville this past year, their defense the last half of the year really stood up and did well. Their defensive line did a really good job, getting all the sacks and tackle for losses, and we want to make sure that's a strength. And while skilled players get a lot of attention, the trenches are really where you win the game. So any additions we can add to add to the depth and play more guys and keep them fresh throughout the game, especially on the defensive line, we want to address that. And I feel like we're in a good position right now.
Jeff, going back to talking about recruiting, one of the things that's obviously new in today's world is NIL. How much is that something that you discuss when you're out recruiting? And what is been your general philosophies on it?
Well, I think it's different everywhere, but it's a big part of recruiting at this point. And there's certain rules that you have to abide by, so we will definitely do that. But everyone watches Twitter and sees the landscape, and there's different teams that utilize it to a great deal. There's others that maybe not as much, but it is an important piece of the puzzle.
You mentioned Pete earlier, and the other staffers who were still around. There wasn't quite like a long turnaround between Satterfield leaving and then you coming in. But could you just speak to how important it was to have those staffers who were still here and just still talking to recruits during this process while you're coming into the new position and you're trying to keep these kids committed to your class?
Well, fortunately, I've had a relationship with Pete Nocta for a long time, and I coached him here as a player, and he's either about the same age as my brother or right around that, and Brian, and know his father, and he's done a great job, and he cares about the program, and really wants Louisville to have success. So he's been a tremendous addition, and we're happy to have him. Hove is another addition that I didn't get a chance to know him until I got here. He's done a really good job, and he has a really good connections down south in Florida. But those were guys we relied on right away, and we from there it was about myself and the few assistants we brought to start hammering away. And there were so many things to do that if I sat there and thought about how many things we had to do, we wouldn't get any work done. So it's just about attacking them as hard as we could, and then maybe taking a break from that and attacking something else, and taking a break from that, attacking something else. But it was a grind, to say it lightly. And getting to this point is gratifying that we're still standing and breathing. But we did the best job that I thought we could, and I thought all of our guys gave great effort. We hung in there, we battled, we got some that we thought we could. We didn't get others that maybe we'd have liked to got. But we worry about the ones that are here, and I feel good about the additions to our squad right now. But really, Pete, the recruiting staff, and all the coaches that have been here with me really worked hard and did a good job.
Jeff, you going all the way back to Coach Schnellenberger, when this program has had really good teams, Florida has been a recruiting base, and Florida's been giving you guys, this program, a lot of really good guys. You have 3 right now in this class. Can you just speak to your thoughts on continuing to recruit down there hard, and then the 2 receivers and Stan Kwan in this class?
Well, that's a vital piece to this program, and the last so many years when I was at Purdue, we really didn't recruit Florida as much, so it wasn't somewhere where we spent a lot of time in. So we're definitely excited to get back down south. And, like you said, even going back to when I played and before and after, the University of Louisville's done a great job getting players from Florida and South Florida to come up and play and be big-time players. Without question, Stan Kwan at the middle linebacker position is a phenomenal talent. We had to battle a lot of really good teams to get him here. We think he's going to be an outstanding player, just really athletic. He's tough. His team won the state championship. Just a competitor. So we're looking forward to getting him here. William Foles at the receiver position. He has the body type that you want. He's athletic. He's strong already. He can stretch the field. We think he can be a real good player. And then Katarius Hicks, can be a slot player that's got some quickness. So we want to build on that. We want to make sure that we do even a better job this next year at making sure that anybody that wants to come up to this university and play from down south, we want to make it happen.
Jeff, I saw the release yesterday. Mark Ivey's going to stay on as a defensive assistant. He's been the D-line coach here. Will he continue in that role, or are you going to mix it up a little bit?
Well, I think that we've evaluated a lot of things since I got here. Talked to a lot of people about Coach Ivey, and of course watched him from afar and watched the ball game, and got a chance to know him. I think that he can add great value to the program. He's been here. He knows our players. He's a football guy. He's a grinder. He wants to win. He wants to compete. He wants to do right by the kids, and that's what I like. So I think we'll determine all the roles as we fill the full staff out. But we're excited to have him. Did you ask about somebody else? Okay. But no, we're excited to have him. Of course, Deion Branch. Of course, I've known about him for a long time, and he did a great job leading the team in a bowl game. We're excited to have him back. I think having somebody that's been there and done that knows the players, knows what they could be going through. Is just a great value to the staff. So we're excited that both those guys will be here.
Jeff, you know this as well as anybody. You came in here and got some really good players from here while you were at Purdue, some receivers. Other teams come in here at the SEC, whoever that might be. I'm not going to mention any names, but they seem like that they have put more of a priority in Louisville and the state of Kentucky. Do you just go out and say, look, follow us, come with us, we're going to be great one day?
Well, we're going to kind of use the same strategy that Coach Snellenberger used, and what I believe in, and definitely in-state and the surrounding 3 to 4 hour radius. We're going to make sure that we leave no stone unturned, and we give everybody that we think can make a difference the opportunity to come here and compete at this university and help us win football games. And I think we have a good plan to get that done, and a good plan for young prospects to come in right away and be difference makers that we've used at Purdue. So when you look at Rondell Moore and David Bell and George Karlaftis, all came in, could have went anywhere in the country they wanted, and they came in and they were stars year one, not their second year, not redshirt for year one. So we firmly believe that if anybody wants to, come to this university and make a difference that lives in this radius, without question, we have a great plan to get it done. From there, of course, we'll recruit all over, but of course going down south and making sure we stay on that path, which can venture all over. We now have connections in California. We've had a few connections in Texas, a little bit up east, but it's just about making sure we utilize all those connections, build it around the radius, but definitely going south, and Florida is a very important area for us.
Jeff, along that line, what kind of feedback are you getting locally or within the state in terms of interest and say, we've got these prospects? I mean, how encouraged are you about that short term and long term?
Well, I feel good about it. Myself and some of our coaches have great relationships with guys in this state and the surrounding area. We've always tried to do right by all the kids and do the right thing no matter what, whether we get them or we don't. I don't believe in telling somebody something just to convince them to come and play for us. No, we want to tell them the truth and what we can do for them and sell that. And if that fits, great. If it doesn't, they need to go somewhere else. And I think the coaches trust us, and they know that we're going to recruit this area and the surrounding area and make sure that, if they tell us about somebody that they feel comfortable with, that they can play at this level, we're gonna try to entertain that. And so I feel good. We weren't able to kind of, this was such a quick turnaround of getting here and getting around our commitments and a few others that we thought could add. We weren't able to get out as much as you normally would do in the spring or even in the possible January contact period to all the schools around this area and in this state, but that definitely will happen here soon. Okay, thanks, guys.